video about adopting my new doggy, Ginger. This is Ginger. She's a teeny weeny little girl. She's a little tiny Chihuahua mix of some kind, I think, because she's not completely teeny. Isn't she cute? Isn't she cute? She's a good girl. Oh, look at that Ginger. She's such a good girl. Look at she just woke up from a nap. She's a good girl. So this is little Ginger, and she loves to be cuddled, and she loves to be held, and she loves to be pet. She loves walks. She's super fun. She's probably, well, her paperwork said a year. Another paperwork said 2 years, so I'm guessing she's somewhere in there. So this is my story about getting a rescue doggy, which I've never done before. And I had Muffin. I'm gonna cry. Don't make me cry. I can't talk about Muffin without crying. For 10 years, and I bought him from a friend who had the mommy and the daddy and the litter, and she would have litters every, I think, 2 a year. For a few years she had some litters with her doggies, and she sold her puppies, and I bought Muffin, and that was the first time I ever bought a doggy. And you know what, I always questioned that because I saw these videos on rescues and I felt guilty, but it was really a wonderful experience to have him from a puppy and just his whole life. I mean, that was wonderful. And my friend, you know, her and her kids and her probably husband at the time, I mean, they raised them from when they were just born, and they were really good about socializing the puppies and taking care of them and making sure they touched every little part of them so that they'd be used to being handled. And she did a great job of getting the puppies ready for being in somebody else's life and the rest of their lives. So it wasn't a bad thing at all. But I always felt guilty that Muffin wasn't a rescue. So when I was ready to get another doggy, which was really hard, I was never ready to get another doggy, but a month had gone by since I had to put Muffin to sleep because he got cancer, and it was terrible. He was 10 years old, so we had been together for all the time. Never ready for a new doggy, but now I'm 56 years old, and I was like, you know what? I turned 56 years old. With Muffin, we got, after 10 years, you know, we had a rhythm, we had a routine, and well, part of our routine was hanging out and chilling a lot. Plus, he went to work with me, and he chilled there, and my clients loved him. And at home, we'd chill, and I'd sit on the couch and watch YouTube and eat snacks. And we had a really easy, comfortable routine after that long together. And we'd walk all the time. Like, I would avoid life and house projects, and I would just, like, you know what, this is too much for me. I'm gonna go walk the doggy. And so we walked like 3 or 4 times a day, mostly. The whole neighborhood knew us. And oh, Ginger's going sleepy. So we walked all the time, and he was really a big part of my active life. I'm gonna cry. I'm crying. So we ran 5Ks and 10Ks, and he was great that way. So after he passed away, I walked and I walked and I walked and I walked. But then after a couple weeks, I was like, what's the point? Like, I wasn't motivated anymore, and I started not walking as much, and I wasn't going to the gym because I was too sad. And after a month, I was like, you know what, forget this. I'm 56 years old. I can't not move and be active and walk. I have to walk for the rest of my life. So be active. I have to get another doggy. So I started looking on adoption websites. There's Adopt a Pet here, and what's the other one? Petfinder.com. And started looking for little small dogs. Muffin was a Shih Tzu Havanese mix. He was 17 pounds around at his healthiest. And so he was a small dog, and I really loved that for me. I mean, he was perfect for me. He was non-shedding, hypoallergenic, so I could bring him to work. He didn't shed at all. I never had to worry about him shedding. His disposition was just totally mellow but fun and active. And so I wanted a small dog. As a single woman, now in my 50s, I found the small dogs were just perfect for me. I never had ever envisioned a small dog. I thought they were all stupid. But when I got Muffin, I was like, oh, they're so great. They don't eat that much. They don't poop that much. I can pick him up. I can put him in my car. He doesn't, I have a small place that I live, and he fits in my car. He fits in my house. And I can manage him. I don't have to worry about him pulling me over on walks. He could pull, but I wasn't going to break my arm or leg with him. So it turned out he was like perfect for me in size-wise. So I started looking on the website. You could filter out what you're looking for. So I looked for small. So I looked for dogs like Muffin at first because he was so perfect. And I wanted a non-shedding dog and a dog like Muffin and replace Muffin. So I looked for dogs like him at first. And the first rescue dog I looked at was this little Maltese rescue up in the Seattle area. I drove up. I met with the rescue lady, and German Shepherd rescue, I think was, but they happened to have this Maltese rescue. And I went and met her and where the fostering was in the home. And the little white the rescue's name was Fluffy. My dog's was Muffin, so what could I do? It was like a match made in heaven, I thought. So I went up and met, and I just cried. That whole first month, I still obviously just cry about Muffin. I was just crying all the time. So the whole visit, I cried because I missed Muffin so much. But, but I really did want another doggy to replace Muffin and to be back going in my life again. And this little Fluffy was terrified. Like, she was terrified of people. She was terrified of walking. We tried walking. She walked a few steps and then she just stopped. And she was really cute, but she was had some medical issues. And the rescue lady was really sweet and really helpful. And I was like, I can't leave a little living creature without taking it, right? And the rescue lady taught me a lot. She was like, Fluffy's gonna be fine. She's gonna be in a foster home. You don't have to worry about her. She'll be taken care of. You have to think about personality. I told her about how Muffin and I would run 5Ks, and she was like, oh, you need a dog that you can be active with. And so, and she taught me, to look for, she said, this dog is not a good fit for you. You're more active. You want to be out and about in the community and meeting people, and it's not a good fit. And I'm like, really? And it helped to validate that it wasn't going to be a good fit for me. I cried the whole time, and I cried the whole way home. And I just, but she taught me a lot about this. Like, oh, good fit. I should look for a good fit. Like, I didn't think about that. I just wanted, I just thought you can't abandon a little doggy, So I thought about that on the way home, and then she also taught me another thing about rescuing, that rescuing, it takes 3 days, 3 weeks, and 3 months. You got to give it 3 days, 3 weeks, and 3 months. I'm like, okay. And that has turned out to be very true. So anyway, I cried all the way home, and then I started looking for other doggies, and I started applying for other doggies on the rescue side and looking for small dogs, and talking to rescue people, and I was thinking about a puppy, and then I was like, no, I don't think a puppy will work. My landlord at work would get mad about a puppy, and so, because I bring her to work, and I brought Muffin to work every day. So I talked to some rescue people, and then I saw Ginger. I was interested in some other dogs, but then I saw Ginger. I was like, well, what about this one? And the rescue lady knew the foster mom where Ginger was. And these dogs are rescued in Texas. and was fostering in Texas. Ginger was being fostered in Texas by a rescue who found her as a stray. And apparently in Texas, there's like 50,000 dogs that are, I don't know, killed or something a year in the shelters. And there's a big rescue effort in Texas because there's a lot of dogs that are being killed down there. And so every week, dogs are being transported up here where I live by van. So Ginger was at a rescue in Texas called Saving Shelter Strays, and the rescue person that I was talking to got me in touch with the rescue person where she was at, and I asked about the personality. I was like, okay, I need to ask about personality this time. So I asked the foster mom about personality, and the foster mom said, well, she's really fun and really playful. And in fact, they were taking her out to the country dancing bar that night. And the other rescue lady, also showed me a video of Ginger walking right up to her, having not known her at all. And I'm like, well, that's perfect. She's fun, she's playful, she's active. That sounds perfect. I'll take her. So just hearing about her personality and that she was a small dog, I said, okay. I had never met her. She was still in Texas. She had been in foster care for 5 weeks. Yeah. And she was doing really good. And she was living with other doggies and they were doing really good. And so she was good with dogs and people and stuff. And I'm like, I'll take her. So I adopted her without seeing her. I paid the rescue the money. I sent it by PayPal. It was $400, which is a lot of money. But it turns out you can pay the shelter fees, which are, I don't know what they are. But I looked in the shelters too here. The rescue organizations are expensive too, $400, $600. I mean, it depends on the doggies, and the rescue, but they take them in for weeks and months and years, and they provide all the medical. They take them to the vet. They give shots. They microchip. The woman in German Shepherd Rescue even does dentals before you adopt them, which is amazing. So it pays for a lot. So I started feeling like, I get it. And the transport up here. So I adopted her without seeing her, and then she was set for a transport in 2 weeks from then. And so she was put on the van, and she came up, took a, I think, 3-day trip from Texas, and what do you smell? What do you smell? And she's so funny. And I picked her up where the van left her off. Look at her. Oh. And I took her home. And she loves to be held. What surprised me was she was so tiny. I didn't know she was so tiny. The website, the picture, she looked bigger on her picture, and it said she was 10 pounds. But when I got her, she was like 7.5 or something. She was teeny. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so teeny. I didn't expect her to be teeny. I didn't mean to get a teeny chihuahua. So I held her, and she was really freaked out, kind of coming right from the van. She came right off the van. I was the first one there to pick up the doggies. In a parking lot at the doggy park up a little north of me. I mean, it was just a pickup in a parking lot. I mean, and she was kind of freaked out. And then I put her in Muffin's car seat, and she was really freaked out. She didn't know what to do. And it was pouring, and she was freaked out about that. And then there's windshield wipers going, and she was really freaked out. She was freaked out. So, but we got home. I'm like, oh my God, she can't ride in a car. She's freaked out by the rain. She's freaked out by the windshield. She'll never be able to ride in a car with me. Muffin just hung out in the car. He was perfectly fine. He just laid down in the seat and chilled the whole way. And I'm like, oh my God, she can't ride in a car. What am I going to do? I'll never be able to take her anywhere. She hates the windshield. So I take her home, and she runs in the house. And as far as I remember, I think I stopped and got her some clothes and a collar and a tag and stuff like that. I don't remember. But I took her home, and she ran in the home, and she was really excited, and she ran around the house, and she played with every single toy. I still had all Muffins. Well, I gave away some of them, but I have a bunch of Muffins toys, and I bought her some toys. I bought her new beds before she came, and new blankets, and a couple new toys. And she came home, and she threw around all the toys. And turns out she loved all the squeaky toys and the fluffy squeaky toys, and she just got every one of them and squeaked every toy in the house. She was so excited. And she was so excited, and it was like later in the afternoon by that time. And she was so excited. She was playing around, and I was like, we got to go to bed. And we went to bed, and she was still playing around. I'm like, oh my God, this is such a mistake. She's playing around. She'll never go to sleep. She's too excited. She'll never go to sleep. What a big mistake I made. And then she stands on top of me, and I start petting her. And she's so tiny, you can pet her with one finger. So I start petting her on the bed, and I didn't know what to do because I never met her before. So I start petting her, and she starts falling asleep. And she falls asleep. When you pet her in certain places, she falls asleep. I'm like, oh my gosh, I found her off button. And sure enough, that's her off button. If you pet her, she'll fall asleep like she is now. And we went to sleep. She slept the whole night. Some of the difficulties of that first day were she pottied in the house. She pottied in the house right away. She pottied, she pooped. I'm like, oh my God, this is never going to work. She potties and poops in the house. Oh my God, this is never going to work. This is my worst nightmares. So I had bought puppy pads, but I hadn't put them out because, I'm in denial that she's not going to do that because I heard she was house trained. So I put out the puppy pads, and she used those, which was good. But I was like, first 3 days, like the rescue worker said, gave her 3 days, 3 weeks, and 3 months. First 3 days, I thought this is a terrible mistake. This is a nightmare. I might have to take her back. I was like, okay, 3 days. Got to give it 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. This was January 18th. I adopted her. Today is March 15th. So it's February, March. We're working on 2 months. It'll be 2 months this week. So we're still on the 3 month working. So knowing that 3 days, 3 weeks, and 3 months has given me a lot more patience. So I'm like, okay, we'll wait it out. We'll train it out. We'll keep working on it. It'll get better. For these difficult spots of adjustment for her and me, but mostly me, probably. I don't know what her adjustment's been like, but it's been really big for me. So these 3 day, 3 weeks, 3 month markers have been big mental help for me adjusting. I know that. I don't know about her. She's pretty darn adjusted. So what she did her first day was I sat on the couch, and usually I'd sit on the couch, Muffin would sit on his chair and just chill, and I'd chill on my couch. He'd chill on his chair. But Ginger, she came right up to me, and she just laid on my lap, and she just laid her head right here, and she just cling onto me and sleep on me and put her little head on me the whole time. I was freaked out. I was like, why doesn't she just get on her chair and chill? I just want to chill. She's not chilling. And that freaked me out, but she just clung on to me, and she was like, I love you, I love you, I love you. Love me, love me, love me. And after 3 days, she kind of forced me to love her because she attached right away, and I didn't emotionally and psychologically because of my loss of Muffin, which I'll get into on another video. So she forced me to love her and attach to her because she just attached right to me on my chest. So she made me attached to her. So I'm going to have another part of the video because this is going to be long. So this is part 1 of my rescue dog experience with little new Ginger. Okay, I'm going to stop this and do next part. Thanks. Bye.